Welcome back to Homeschooling Mama, where we talk about all the things that come up and how do you just do homeschooling when you are going through fighting health issues in your body. Um, I am the homeschooling mom of two high schoolers, one middle schooler, and two elementary school age children. And I've been doing this for many years. I've been doing it all their lives. And I have been fighting and overcoming health issues, certain disease, and a certain disease. And it has not always been easy, but it is a joy. And my children love being homeschooled, and I love homeschooling them. And neither them nor I would have it any other way. So let's talk a little bit about how you do that, right? How do you homeschool? How do you homeschool when you're bedridden? How do you homeschool when you're not feeling well? How do you homeschool when you're in the hospital? How do you keep the day going? How do you make sure that your homeschool is progressing when you're in each of those situations? I can tell you now, it is not easy. It does take a lot of work, but it is worth it. And those seasons are just seasons. They don't last always. There are better times in life, and then there are some pretty hard and dark times in life. When I have been bedridden, what I have done is this. First of all, know that my husband does step in, and he is very much intricately involved in homeschooling at different times. Overall, it is not his priority, it is my job, but when need be, he steps in there and he does what needs to be done. When I have been bedridden on many occasions over the years, and my children were at different age groups and different school grades. So how have I done that? Well, I have a pretty much set schedule. My children know exactly what needs to be done on any given day, how much needs to be done in each subject. But what I would do is we wouldn't sit at the table, we wouldn't sit in a classroom. I would be in the bed because I'm bedridden, and my children would come around me and they would do their homework around me, and I could hear the things that they're doing. If they're struggling while they're reading or with a word or something like that, I could correct them, and they can come and ask any questions that they need to ask. I would also have each child teach the one that's beneath them, and I would listen to them as they taught the one that was beneath them. And what that did was that helped to reinforce their learning for them, and that helped me to hear how well they had learned, and if there's anything I need to help them with, because they can't teach it to the one that's underneath them if they don't know it. And so I used that. Each one was responsible for the one underneath them, and that helped me a lot to hear what they were teaching and make any corrections that were needed. But they sit around me, they do their work, they have any questions, I answer the questions for them. If I'm able to and my mind is clear, I will correct pages with them, but I also have the one above them do some corrections for me as well. My husband does corrections for me as well, or I'll save it until I'm able to do it later. But usually when you're bedridden, it can be a while and you don't know when you're going to come up. So we try to keep correcting as much as possible. I do as much as I can while I'm laying there. And I also have the one that's older help the one that's right beneath them in grade level and in age to correct their papers for them. And my husband is there also as well. When I am in a hospital, once again, they have a certain schedule. They know it basically what needs to be done. If I'm conscious and I'm able to, I do talk to them on the phone at the end of every day to see what they did in school. I talk to them during the school time. I answer any questions that they might have. They know that they can call me at any time. There are times when I am not conscious, or I have not been conscious. There's times when mentally I'm not altogether there. We hold all conversations and communications, because I tend to not like my children to have conversations with me when I am not mentally where I need to be. During those times, my husband either handles any questions that they have, or will hold it until we get home. Usually there is an adult that they have access to that is watching them or popping in and out, who can also help them as well. Primarily, a lot of that does not get corrected until I'm home from the hospital. That's when most corrections are done. Even though the children correct the one that is underneath them, their assignments, I still go behind them all and correct them, and then we go back and work on anything that they missed together. And I teach things and go over things with them and kind of quiz them to see, did they really learn what they they needed to learn. And if they learned it incorrectly, I make any corrections and we move on from there. When I am at home and I am not feeling well, that is pretty neat because, not pretty neat, but pretty interesting because sometimes I could wake up and I'm feeling well, but by the time breakfast is on the table, I'm not doing well. It's up and down. The days are up and down. Sometimes I can have great mornings, but my afternoons are rough. Sometimes I can have a great day and my evenings are rough. Sometimes I can have a really good couple days and then I could have a really not so great couple weeks. You know, it just depends. It's up and down when you're dealing with health issues. It's up and down when you're dealing with disease. So how do I deal with that? We generally have a schedule. Like I told you, we basically know what we need to do. I do not set my life on times because there's so many things that can happen, so many variables, and my health being number one. So we basically know how we want the day to look, how we want the day to go. They know what needs to be done in their assignments. If I'm able to get up and do with them, I am 100% in with them. I'm very much active. Sometimes I'll tell them to do it without me. I'll lay down. They'll come around the room like we do kind of when I'm bedridden. But most often we'll switch it up. If I'm having a rough morning, we'll do it in the evening when I'm at full force and I'm able to do it. Sometimes we'll ease it up and have a lighter day. And on the days when I'm not doing so well, we really push it. But for the most part, we try to keep it steady. We try to keep it even for the children. And we utilize everything that I told you. I still listen to them, each one teach one, but a lot of times I'm in the bed and they're asking questions. I'm laying down while I'm helping them. If it's not a situation where I can lay down and I can help them, they'll continue without me, and I will pick up with them later on in the day and check their assignments as it goes on, or help them with anything that they're having problems helping with, or we'll just switch the times up in which we're doing it. Sometimes we can do a little bit in the morning, we can stop at mommy's not doing well, and then pick up again later on in the evening. In all things, you need to remember to do you, because your family dynamic is different than my family dynamic. What works for your household isn't necessarily what's going to work for my household, but what I am doing with you is sharing the things that we have learned over this vast span of years that has worked for us and that has helped us, in the hopes that something that I said may help you as you figure out who your family is and what's going to work best for you. If you have any questions, write them down below. I try to answer them the best that I can, but thank you for watching with us, and we will see you next week. Bye.